Your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Jamin Salmons. The round 19 bye, dreaded bye round is here, and we are here in the DM podcast studio with Ryan Hadley by my side.
Hello, mate. How are
You can touch me now.
Oh, sorry. Was that my intro? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's it. How are you?
I'm good. What's been happening? You
Coach
doing well?
TG2GB.
Yeah, it's been a tough old week. I was just saying to the boys before, I don't know what I'm going to offer today. I don't know how much I've got for you. I'm so lost, it's not even funny, just with the origin sides. I don't know what the fuck Freddie's doing.
We'll get to that.
But, yeah, I'm along for the ride today. I'll pitch in where I can.
How did you go on... Actually, no, just back to you don't know what you're going to offer today. It's a bit like that this time of year, isn't it?
It is, and I think it usually is, but just this week in particular has just gone a little bit south in the last couple of days.
Yeah, and also on the show for the first time in a long time, we have the coach of Kiss My Behind, Jake. How was your Cooper Pedy getaway?
Well, that was only one of the stops, but it's been 2 months actually since I was last on the show.
Jesus.
Back in, start of May, and it's in SuperCoach terms, it's been downhill. It was a bit and ahhing on whether to come on because, like Hads, I don't think I'm going to offer anything, to be honest. So.
No KO down underground in Cooper Pedy.
Well, I mean, I did manage to do trades. Kind of wish I didn't. It didn't really help. But I watched some football, but yeah, it was good just to get away, to be honest. But yeah, came back and now it's been a month and I've continued my slide down the rankings.
So I think before you went on holidays, you're about like in the top 700th maybe, was it?
Nah, I fell to probably about 2,000. Around the same as Mikey, I think I was, and he's gone up and I went down.
And where have you gone wrong?
Just the players that I brought in just haven't been the right players to bring in. So, I didn't get Kalen Ponga. I didn't. I brought in Sean Lane. He folded.
He's back this week.
Oh no, he's back this week, but I shan't be touching him. I don't know. It's a bit of luck. These things you kind of go one way on a different player to everyone else, and if it doesn't work, you fall. And like you two guys, you've pretty much nailed it for the last couple of months, and you've shot up the rankings towards the top 100. Made
good decisions, good captains. Before we move on, can you get a bit of light going on there? Because you are very dark. We cannot see you.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tough to get.
Hads, how'd you go on the weekend, and how's your ranking?
It was a tough watch on the weekend. I said on the pod last week, it's not going to be a moving week for me, just as it tends to be before the bye rounds with Origin guys all playing. And it sucked. I missed Fafita. Then I had to watch Drinky run around. I sold Holmes donkeys ago, but that hurt as well. And then the one that really, really, really hurt me was Kalen Ponga. I sold Ponga around 14. I had him for the bye, and I was like, I don't think he's going to be my season-long guy. And then since then, I've missed out on a 90, a 95, a 170, whatever it was the other day, and a 50 against Penrith. I ended up with 14.31, which I thought I was going to slide down a fair way, but I only ended up sliding down 31 rankings or something.
Far out. So what,
132nd, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, so I ended up on 1360, and it wasn't a terrible week. It was just a lot of 30s, and didn't quite get that extra 150 score added on to Nico Hines' one as well. I think that the Saturday Cowboys game, it was hard to watch. A lot of people don't have these players that were playing on Saturday, but the Drinky was a tough watch. I'll tell you what, Dearden was a tough watch because I heavily considered him a few weeks back, but I'm not going to shoot myself over that because I didn't really it. I didn't do it, so I can't blame myself. I can blame myself for that, but I think the one that does hurt a lot more is Valentine Holmes, though. He was an obvious sell throughout this Origin period, and so was Fafita. Fafita was less obvious, but Valentine Holmes has finally hit form in this Origin period where everybody has kind of sold him. The people who have held on to these Origin players who have kicked on have benefited from it. Jake, what's your take on these Origin guys? Because obviously you can't hold all of them, but It's just been about holding the right ones this year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely for Feeder and Val Holmes. Those two, I guess, they were mass sold from the first Origin, but they've pretty much just scored tons in the few games that they have played. And I guess holding those, especially for head-to-head players, I think they would have held them. They're definitely benefiting from holding those players. And for everyone who doesn't have them, they're going to be tough to get in because I guess once all the Origin games are finished, we're all going to be stacking our sides with all these Origin players, and fitting them all is going to be quite hard when you've got Fafita on 850, Val Holmes is 800 now, Cleary's maybe coming back soon. I don't think everyone's got cap room for all these players.
I think it's more of a case of which ones do you get in, not when you're going to get them. It's which ones now.
And for me, it's like, to be able to get these guys, I've got to trade out some of my guys who are like on the verge of being a season-long keeper.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure whether they're going to be or not, like a Horsburgh or a Hopgood or something like that. I'm like
Jacob Preston.
I'm like, I don't know which ones I'm going to get rid of to get these guys in.
Yeah.
I hate to make the wrong decision.
It's an awkward one, but I feel like you've got to do it. I think when you do these trades to keepers like Fafita, Cleary, and all that, you never regret it. Mm. It's just not being able to let go of that player and having the FOMO about it. But let's move on very quickly and talk about this Origin team. SuperCoach, it's obviously ruined a lot of us for SuperCoach. I went from 12 to 17 last weekend to 14 after the Origin to 12 after team list. So it's kind of bitten me in the ass, but I was actually pretty good sitting in the first place. I could only imagine a lot of people are in pretty tricky positions at the moment.
Yeah, well, it was just one little leak of news after the other that I was just like, oh, surely not. Come on. The obvious ones I was kind of... I kind of figured Horsburgh was going to play.
Yeah.
So I didn't even count him when I was counting my numbers. So when I had my numbers, I had 12 or something. I was like, I was going to make trades anyway.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. And then Gutho got picked. I was like, fuck, there's probably like one of my captain options probably
another
gone.
captain option, yeah.
And then Walker got picked as well. So I was like, fuck me, what's going on? So now I'm down to 10 or 11 I think. But that's including like Ben Murdoch-Masila. So
He's starting.
we say this
It's
every
something.
week, but yeah, I don't know where I'm going now. So I've got a couple of days to dwell on it, but we'll see how we go.
Jake, how are you looking? The Sharks actually look pretty full strength considering Origin and all these bolters coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just, I guess, back on the Origin. I've got my Origin spirit and my shirt and my beanie on, but...
It'd be good if we could see.
Not confident at it at all.
Has he moved to Cooper Pedy? Is he underground right now?
Are you in the bunker?
Well, you didn't give me much time. That's the only thing to kind of set up, so I didn't get to do my life. Sorry about
That's
that.
right, mate.
But,
That's all right. You're here. That's the main thing.
With the Blues, I guess Freddie doesn't give a crap about our SuperCoach sides, so he's...
Or maybe he gives a crap about his own. Maybe he's got one himself.
Mate, he could have... Well, no, because he'll definitely have the Saifidis in there because he loves them.
I'm literally trying to come up with... Sorry, you go, Jake.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just back to the Sharks. That we're going well, but we only beat up bottom 9 sides, so at least we are playing a bottom 9 side this week.
Yeah, I was just trying to find some sort of positive spin to take out of any of this blue selection, and I was like, there is none. The only one is Dane. Hopefully, is Gagai. They're not playing. But then hopefully next week Bradman Best doesn't play.
Yeah.
And Gagai somehow is more involved, like more dominant. I don't know. That's the only thing. That's literally the only good thing to come out of any of these selections.
He should be good to go. I don't know why he was out last week, but
plantar fascia injury or something. So
yeah,
his foot.
Interesting. My thoughts on this Origin team. Put a little video on TikTok, which is going a little bit viral at the moment. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have seen
You
it.
have seen it?
You're just yelling at a camera.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just at work. I saw the teams and I was pissed off. 100,000 views at the moment. Have a look. 5,000 likes or something.
Nice,
something like. I'm not counting or anything, but I pretty much said Bradman Best, he's a good player. But why? Like all these other players, Talakai, Staggs, Burton, they've all been touted as like next in line, and he's brought them into camp consistently over the last 3 years. And then pick someone like Bradman Best to come in. Like, I'd get if he was in and around the camp for a long time. But that being said, I have had time to reflect on it. And do we think that this team he's trying to bring back New South Wales and just bring back that mongrel? Because, like, players like Cody Walker over Luai, I like that for the aggression. Gutho in there. Like, I know that bench spot is very questionable, but he has a go. My problem with that at the same time is it's a dead rubber. It's a dead rubber. I think, like, you're going to choose this team game 1 next year?
Absolutely not. I just don't see how there's so many things that can go wrong. And I heard Brandy speak on 360, whatever it was, about how,
do not disrespect Bradman.
You're so rude to Bradman. Don't be rude. But how, he was a superstar in the underage competitions and stuff. And I guess it's almost like they're validating their pathway system and saying, oh, well, we got to progress these guys that came through the pathway.
Yeah.
And that's rich of me to say because I'm a product of a pathway system. But that's what it seems like to me anyway. I don't understand. Like, Walker's been in good form, and I understand their reasoning behind picking him. They're coming out and saying that we've lacked the execution of points and whatnot. But you've got the reigning Dally M medalist. You've got the halfback of a side that's got the best attack in the NRL, and they're not picking him.
Yeah.
As in the same as in Nico Hines. I just don't get it. And, like, you can list the names of other centres that could play for hours, like Penasini. If you're going to pick Gutho, he can do a job in the centres. I know Whiten's retired.
Isaac Tungo was in
good. Penasini.
in the
conversation
conversation
already.
Yeah, you did say Penasini.
Anyway. Leave that be.
Jake, as a Sharks fan, what are your thoughts on Hines being snubbed once again? 10 minutes in game 1, and I heard a comment the other day of him saying, I don't think I'll get picked. I let the state down in game 1, and that breaks my heart to hear that because he's been the best player for 2 years, and Freddie's just one and done. I think it was 9 players before game 2, and now it's another 2 players that he's debuted and played for only 1 game. Now I think it's like 11 or 12 now. Stefano only playing 10 minutes. Jake, what are your thoughts on him snubbing Nico Hines?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of agrees that he's been unfairly treated. He should have given a go. I mean, Cody Walker's 34. He should have been used in game 2. There's no point bringing him in dead rubber and playing 34-year-old. I mean, at least give Hines a go. Give him 80 minutes. He was thrown out in the centres for 10 minutes. He was never going to succeed there, but I think it's unfair on him. But, I mean, Blues loss or whatever, but Sharks gain, so I'll take it.
I think you make a good point, though. Cody Walker should have picked him for game 2. Like, if that's your thought process, pick him for game 2. And I would have been happy with that because I think he would have had a go. And it would have been the best kind of result for that game, potentially. But SuperCoach, I guess. Hot topics, round 19 coverage. How many do we have?
Yeah, I mentioned before, now that everything's happened, I think I've got 10 before trades. So 11 before trades, including Ben.
And are you going to trade?
Yes, I'm probably going to
max trade. Yeah. Jake?
I had 15. Origin went down to 12, and like you, Savs, I went down to 10.
Jesus.
It was quite painful.
And are you trading?
Yes. I mean, I wasn't going to actually trade, but now I'm probably going to make 2 to kind of set myself up for the next couple of weeks and like just give myself some cash.
I was only going to make 1 trade this week, and I'll actually talk about it later when we talk about trades. But team lists are in, and this is the kind of week where we have a short team list, but it's very impactful on our SuperCoach team. So Sharks versus the Tigers. I was very keen on Sean Bloor last week, but he is benched. But this is also good for a very popular SuperCoach player in John Bateman. 34 points on the weekend. Do you have Johnny Bateman?
I don't have John Bateman.
You don't? Do you, Jakey?
No, don't have John Bateman.
Well, a lot of people on our panel do, in Mikey and Timmy. If you're a Bateman owner, is he the kind of guy you want to go to Fafita with?
I don't, as in trade to Fafita.
Yeah, obviously not now.
Yeah,
but
100%. I think so. I think he'll be, he's got a high break even at the moment, so hopefully he doesn't drop too much cash, but I think he's a guy that's probably just off that upper echelon of final second row forwards. So definitely use that to your advantage, I think.
Jake?
Yeah. I think there's a couple of bridges I think to get rid of. I throw Preston probably in that mix as well. A lot of people still have Jacob Preston. I think the way the Dogs are going, him to Fafita, I know it's probably going to cost you 250k, but in terms of 4 guys, he's probably one as well.
He's at the top of my list for feeder trade outs.
That's what I'm saying. It's just so hard, especially like I don't have him, so it'd be a little bit of an easy decision if I did. And I don't have Preston.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to get someone this week like a Joe Tarpany, who I know is going to be really good, at least for this week. I know he has the bye next week. My numbers should be okay. But then I've got like 4 or 5 guys that are kind of like, oh, are they the guy or not kind of thing. And I have no idea who I'm going to go with.
It's funny because I know you got Horsburgh, and that's a very tough one because he's pumping out really good scores, but misses the next 2 weeks. I think at this part of the season, that's very crucial at the moment. And if he comes out, only scores, 55 to 65, it doesn't really hurt you. And if you've got a Fafita that's scoring hundreds constantly, it's going to hurt you. No Finucane, Jake. Nuffs is something I want to talk about because this is usually the time when we go for Nuffs. There is a Jesse Qualoquin on the bench. He's probably not a great example, but I'm just trying to look at each team makeup and try and get enough here and there. I think the best option this week is probably Tyrone Munro. He's not actually enough, but could be a guy you could play throughout the season. But what are your thoughts on Nuffs and the Sharks this week, Jake?
Yeah, I think Jesse's definitely one to consider. He's got dual flexibility as well, so bottom dollar, and will play this week. So I think he's kind of a perfect Nuff. I guess with Nuffs, as long as you kind of got numbers for this round and next round, you're sweet. So I see no problem with throwing in a few Nuffs to get these big guys like Fafita for the run home.
Question, sorry, before I interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any guys in your team at the moment on your bench that aren't playing like Nuffs already, but that weren't purposeful Nuffs? As in
I think
Willie Army still or something like that?
I think can you say Ben Murdoch-Masila is?
I'm going to say no. But I'm just
he's an AE nightmare. He's not quite enough.
I'm just curious to see your ideas and plans because I don't have any guys like that, so I'm happy to Nuff even maybe 2 guys over the next few weeks.
I do, but I don't. I've got Burbo and Tom Eisenhuth.
Yeah.
Who on the weekend, Eisenhuth got a line break, 50 points. I was so excited when he got the line break. 50 points, 340k. I mean, he's a perfect guy to Nuff, to be honest. Burbo scored a try on the weekend. Very nice. And hopefully he gets some minutes. So he's a guy who is enough, but at the same time, I could probably get points out of him here and there. But I think I'd be hesitant nothing elsewhere outside of those guys, just because I don't want 4 guys potentially not playing.
That's what I'm saying. It was more for the people that do already have guys like that in their team that didn't mean to have guys like that in their team. Like, you can't really be afford to nothing 2 guys, 3 guys over the next 5 weeks. It's going to be punished.
Unless you've got trades to cover certain positions. I think if you've got 2 or 3 players in depth and you've got trades, then at least you can cover 1 or 2 week injuries or suspensions. And then you've also got the trades.
Especially the last couple of weeks. You can just go guys in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
Jake, what's your thoughts on the Nuff at this time of year?
Yeah, I think I was pretty sure I just answered that.
Yeah,
oh, did you?
Deja vu or something.
There's that. I just showed Saz. Itasi James is playing for the Tigers.
Off the bench.
It's
17. So we got Jesse. I think these front row forward Nuffs and probably not the go.
No, I agree.
You do want someone who's probably playing 80 minutes. But if you
especially for this week, if you're going for a Nuff that gives you a number this week.
Exactly. You're not going to Nuff. I feel like if you're doing it this week, you're getting a guy like.
See, my plan wasn't Munro, but now that Ken has been dropped for him, I don't know what to read into that.
Yeah. Jake, the Sharks are at full strength. I've seen a lot of big personalities in the game say the Sharks' performance last week was perfect. It was great, but I think there was still a lot to be desired. Like, Nico Hines had a kick for Sione Katoa on the first tackle. I thought they were just a bit impatient. I'm hoping that Oh, actually, no, we want them to go for these all-out plays.
Absolutely.
But what are your thoughts on it, Jake?
Yeah, by no means we're perfect. The Dragons, they're awful. I think we can put the Tigers, Dogs, and Dragons all in the same bucket of being terrible and ready for next year. But yeah, the Sharks, I mean, we beat up these bad sides, but when it comes to teams that are, in the top 8 or in or abouts, we really struggle. Like next week, we probably lose to the Warriors. We're that sort of side this year, but
Or it depends depends if they're in the top 8 by the end of the week or not.
Yeah, it's a bit tight around that
Yeah,
area.
it is.
But I think with the Sharks, I think the fact that they're versus the Tigers, who just copped 76, 74 points, I don't see them improving. So I think the Sharks are a side that you want to target for your SuperCoach players this week.
That's it. And who is on the top of your list for the Sharks?
Well, I mean, the main ones, you already have Nico Hines, Britton Nikora, Ronnie. I mean, any of the outside backs, to be honest, except Sione Katoa, who for some reason can't score. Got him ages ago and he still can't score a try. Maybe he's due this week.
15 tries in 5 games on that right edge defence against the Dragons, and Sione Katoa manages not to get one.
None.
I actually went Jesse Ramian last week as a trade-in, mainly because I was scared of these types of scores. He scored 28 on the weekend. Without a try, he doesn't get a respectable score. He needs a couple of tries to get a good score. With Ramian, I can plug and play him any matchup, really, I reckon. He was looking good for base stats in the first half, but it fell off in the second half.
Can we talk to the NRL people about scheduling these Sharks games against shit teams on a Thursday, first game of the round, please? Because I'm not happy.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it being the first game this week. But then the rest of the weekend, Jesus, we're in for some poo slingers, aren't we?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on before we move on to the next game, Jake?
No, not really. I mean, in terms of the Tigers, we didn't really touch on them. Is there anyone you're targeting? I guess IPAP and Bateman, if you have them, are probably. I don't think you're targeting bringing anyone in
Yeah.
for the Tigers.
I've got one. How many Sharks is too many Sharks?
I've got 4, and I'm trading in another this week. Yeah.
This is why I'm asking. I've got. I've also got 4, and I'm also considering trading in another this week.
What are you doing? So who have you got?
I've got Nikora, Hines, Talakai, Mulatalo. I'm thinking maybe Kennedy.
Oh, I love it. I got Kennedy last week, and I'm very happy, actually. He did very well. Jake, I think he's had a bit of a plateau in this mid part of the season, but I think for this back half, he could. This fullback position is really open, and he could be a guy that you could rely on until the Sharks get to that harder matchup in the last 4 weeks. I think they play the Rabbitohs, Parramatta, Melbourne in the last 4 weeks, Penrith as well. So I think selling him off before that tough run and relying on him for the next 4 or 5 weeks, I think that is going to be a good play.
I think it'll only really be a 3-week play before I need to start getting rid of them. Because Tigers, Warriors, who never know what's going to happen, then Manly, and then that's Penrith and South. So
yeah.
Then,
I don't think you can hold him for the Penrith game.
No, but you can obviously hold Nico. You can probably hold Nikora, but you can't hold a guy like Kennedy.
Talakai you can, I reckon.
Yeah. Jake,
as the Sharks fan, top 8 sides, the tough run, who would you be holding on to?
I think Nikora, Hines, probably maybe a Mulatalo or a Talakai. I think probably only you want one centre wing for those 3 hard games. But I guess with Will Kennedy, hopefully he makes quite a bit of cash in the next couple of games for those that have him like yourself or are bringing him in. And he could be a bit of a... Probably need to pay a bit, but straight to Latrell Mitchell in around 22, 23.
See, I've completely forgotten about Latrell just because I'm so caught up in the whole Fafita, Cleary, Grant, shenanigans.
I need to see more from Latrell before I get him in, though, because he's the kind of guy that he can do it straight away, but he's the kind of guy that can take a while as well. But back to Kennedy, Jake. It's a bit of a risky one because he's $580K. He's at a pretty okay price. If he doesn't score well this week, he's not going to make money for you to be able to go up to these premium guys very easily. So you're going to really rely on him to score very well this week, to have a rolling average of the 75 and whatever he scores this week, to rely on that for the cash generation leading into the tough buy. So I think it is a bit of a risk in that regards. But moving on to the next game, the Dragons versus the Raiders, and just on the week where Tyrell Sloan, he's finally going to be useful for my side again. He gets dropped. There's honestly nothing here. It just says Tyrell Sloan has been replaced. Calf injury?
It's a calf injury.
Yeah.
Calf, yeah. Yeah, he wasn't quite dropped.
There we go. But he's done me well, and he's 530k, and I'm doing a very nice trade from him this week. So stay tuned for that one. But Jake, thoughts on this game?
I mean, nothing really from the Dragons. They've been poo pretty much all year. But I guess the Raiders, Tarpanay should see increased minutes. I guess he's probably maybe even a safe captains, where a lot of our other captains in the later rounds are kind of either been picked for Origin or gone down. So,
yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
So I think Tarpanay, I mean, Timoko really hasn't gone back to what we saw in the middle of the season.
He's one I've got here on my list here, 440k. And that left edge defense for the Dragons has been shit this year. And he's a kind of guy who can capitalize on it. They do have a pretty good draw to end the year as well.
Yeah, Raiders have a dream draw. The only thing is they have the bye next round, so getting one in means you kind of got them for 50% of the play in the next 2 weeks. So, but with Timoko, like, he killed in the middle of the season, but since that we've seen nothing from that. Like, that's similar to what he showed then. He kind of just doesn't get the ball, and just, I don't know, he kind of just seems a bit of a letdown, to be honest.
When he did kill it, though, it was against St. George, the Dolphins, the Dogs. Like and obviously they're playing.
And they've got them coming up.
I'm saying they're playing St.
again.
George this week. Newcastle, apart from the weekend, have been pretty average. Tigers, we know what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to go a Canberra guy, how long are we going to how long are we going to hold for? What's your step beyond that? What are you thinking?
I think the deal breaker with a lot of these guys that we're talking about is you're locking them into your side for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to expect to lock them in the rest of the season. Unless, if you've got 13 plus trades at the moment, I think you can afford to have a cash cow in there, like a Jordan Rapana or a Timoko on a run. Mm-hmm. But any less than that, it's very risky.
Yeah. See, Timoko was one that came across my
across my desk.
Came across my desk, yeah. But I'm just not sure what I'm doing with him and what my plan would be after that. Like, if he doesn't make money, then I'm up shit creek and I'm sitting him on the bench at 380k in a couple of weeks, and then there's no point in me having him. There's no point in me purchasing him for this week. Very
similar to a Jesse Ramian purchase, in my opinion. But I think with Timoko and Ramian, they're kind of guys who don't have to just score tries to score well. Like, he's not going to go down to 250k because he's getting 15s. Jake, Timoko, or like even Jordan Rapana. Timmy jumped on Jordan Rapana the other week, and it was looking towards this round and playing the Dragons.
Yeah, I don't mind Rapana. He's quite cheap now. I probably prefer Timoko. Just like we said, he's kind of got that base about him that he can kind of get a 40 without doing anything. I guess just on the Raiders, one player that I think you can probably bring in and keep for the year is Hudson Young. Dropped from the same Origin. He's mid 500Ks. The run that the Raiders have all the way to the end, I think he's a player that you can kind of throw in there in back row. He's quite a discount now.
I don't love it. Just because Horsburgh, Tarpanay, I can't put Hudson Young in there as well.
As in because you have the other guys?
Yeah.
I understand that. If you don't have those guys, I was looking at them before, I don't mind it. I quite like it.
You like it? All right. Rapana Juicy, Trey Mooney on the bench. He's a guy I've just put down there because he's a second row. I think he's dual, but he's 200 odd K, and he's the kind of guy who can push his way into the side permanently. So he's enough that might kick on. I know that's not what you want, but with 27 rounds, 8 rounds to go after this week, or 8 rounds to go including this week, I think it's enough that might work out and might come handy for you in the later rounds. Jake, I saw you doing a quick Google search there.
Yeah, I don't think he's... I think it'll be like one game and done. Then I'll have Horsburgh come back. Papali's due back round 21. They only play 2 forwards on the bench as well, because Kotrick and Starling, I don't know what Ricky does, but he plays Horse and Tarpanay big minutes. So, and Pasami Sulo is also out as well. So I think he's kind of a one and play, and for an extra 30k, I'd rather go down to Jesse from the Sharks.
That's it. Eels versus Warriors. We've got Sean Russell, fullback, Loomy in on the wing. Watch out there. Matto at 5. I'm glad you saw what I did there. He's a good player. I like him. Loomy.
Next, please.
Next. Okay. Junior Paulo. Named.
Why are you so surprised?
Wasn't named in Origin.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no.
And nobody's talked about it.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's that big a deal, really.
Jacob Safidi is playing in Origin.
You're right, but Spencer Lenu is also not playing in Origin, which I think is a bigger deal.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Just because he hasn't played Origin, which is why it's a bigger deal, I guess.
Yeah.
Sean Lane is on the bench. Don't get me wrong. I like how Sean Lane played last year. I don't know if he's going to be a target this year. He could be more of a next year guy. And with Andrew Davey and Bryce Cartwright absolutely killing it. Jake, Bryce Cartwright with the break-back year.
Oh, no, he's back. The party's back. He kind of plateaued a bit in the middle of the season, but then a couple more injuries, and he's just killing it on the week. Not the weekend because they didn't play, but the weekend before, he fucking 5 offloads back to what he used to do and was killing it. So, I mean, with Lane coming back, I think Lane will eventually go into 80 minutes, where Davey and Bryce will probably share, a 60-20 sort of thing. So, in Sean Lane, I think the fact he's carrying some injuries, I think you can stay off him till next year, where he's going to be quite cheap.
I don't mind. He's not... Until you can get some clarity around his minutes, I don't think there's much there. We're scared off, even with guys like Hopgood, who are just absolute machines, and people are scared off with his minutes. So I don't think you can be confident in Lane's either.
Yeah, especially with these second rows, absolutely killing it. Dylan Brown, he's going to be back towards the end of the season. That's an interesting one. Are we going to...
I was going to say, does this throw a spanner in your works with your... I suppose everyone's going, Munster Walker to finish kind of thing?
I think so.
Oh, we're going Munster Walker. Does this...
I wouldn't be targeting him, to be honest, because they do have a late buy as well.
And not the easiest run after 23 either.
Yeah, and having that much time off the game, he's going to need something special to come back to be a purchase, in my opinion. Do you agree, Jake?
Yeah, I agree. He comes back around 24. I think they go Broncos, Penrith, Melbourne. It's a tough run, whatever it is, and we got Melbourne and
a bye in that period as well.
Yeah. So Souths have a good run, Melbourne have a good run, so they're probably 258 you'd rather.
The Warriors look strong, and I think this is probably a game where you might target Warriors players for the matchup or potentially even for captaincy. So Sean Johnson.
Yeah,
he's in a bit of doubt.
Yeah, I probably won't go there just because of how my side's made up, and I've got plans to go to Cleary and stuff. But I don't know if you could, even if you were able, even your team was laid out, so you could, just with what's going on. The birth of his child, is it? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, don't tell my partner. I'd play a game and miss it, but that's okay. That's for another day. But guys like, I've held.
Would you?
Nah.
So.
Cricket or?
Yeah. So say you were named first Shield Game of the Year, and she was due.
Yeah, it'd be tough because I'm not Sean Johnson where I'll just walk back into the team afterwards. Yeah. If I don't play, someone does really well, and it's different because it's 4 days. It's 4 days. Whereas a rugby league game is 1 day.
Oh, you could. Yeah.
If it was my debut test match though or something like that, I'd be straight out the door. See you later.
Yeah. With Shield match, like you know you're thereabouts. So
yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We won't have to cross that bridge, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I've timed it nicely.
Schedules just before.
Just before it all starts.
Yeah, nice. Well, at least we don't have to worry about that one. Yeah, so the Warriors look strong. DWZ Chans I like. Bit expensive, but if you have him, I'd be very okay with him being a captain choice potentially. But the Parramatta could show up.
I think Parramatta's pack's still decent enough.
Pretty good, yeah.
To kind of hold up, and then it's just a matter of how the halves go, I think, in terms of how that game plays out.
Yeah. How do you see this game going, Jake? Bulldogs versus the Rabbits. The Rabbits are decimated. No Kenner, which throws a spanner in my works because I had him. It was a nice little purchase, and he's gone and got dropped.
Yeah, I went Kenner the same time you did, Savs, and we're like, oh, yeah, cool, he's making a bit of cash, and we're going to get him at 19, and all of a sudden, nope, he's not there. But in terms of the game, I mean, the Dogs, they were booed off at halftime and then throughout the whole second half. So, I mean, surely they go half decent against the reserve grade South side.
I think so too. I think it's a bounce back week for them. No Kenner. Munro is in. We did mention him before. Are you guys going there?
I'm really worried now. My theory was that as soon as Campbell Graham came back, he'd kind of be gone. So he was going to be my guy this week to play this week, and then Nuff out later. I don't know if I can go him anymore, especially with this South side. If I want him for just the points this week, I don't know where he's getting his points from this week. And then if he's going to cause me issues in the next few weeks, then that could be a drama. I also hear feedback.
Yeah, you hear that? It's probably Jake. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Is that sum up?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was a bit flabbergasted when I saw he was the most traded in this week. But seeing he's named for Kenner, I think he has potential that he has won that spot. He did train with first grade in the preseason, so there is potential he's won that spot. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
I mean, if you're willing to bring in Kenner based off being a right side, or just a edge player for a good South side, then I suppose the same should apply for Munro.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel the same. I think Kenner's just a bit bigger body, like a bit more base.
I think we could be in a similar situation in a couple of weeks with Munro going out. I don't know if they've made a decision there, but Shaq Mitchell lock, a lot of people would have still had him from earlier in the season because they can't get rid of him, so that's nice. I've got Nuff's question mark here. There's Tallis Duncan, who is thereabouts, so... it just depends which one you like and which one on the matchup. Avarillo on the other side of the park is named at fullback, so Hayes Perham is out. Avarillo fullback, Tapine centre wing, so dual second row status for 2024. And
Toby Sexton.
Sexton in, yeah.
Not that he's relevant at all, but interesting.
Yeah, it's good. Jake, Avarillo at fullback.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really a SuperCoach option. I don't think really any of the Bulldogs are. But I mean, I lost Alamotti. I still had Alamotti this whole time. So he's actually,
he's not named.
Wow.
No, he's actually out. So is Hayes Perham. They've axed a few.
Fucking hell.
So I'm actually going him to
Braden Burns.
To Munro, actually, because I was planning to nuff him out next week anyway, so I may as well nuff him this week. I think Munro might have won the spot. He might still play there. I mean, Tane's playing centre. I think they may have done it the other way around if Tane was to still keep his spot. So
I mean, Richard Kenner's...
I'm happy either way.
He's 18th. I mean, he's in the reserve, so I think he's just won it, that Munro kid.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe he's my best option. This is why I've come in here going, I have no idea what's going on. And now in my head I'm going, I sell Horsburgh, I skip Tarpanay, I get I get Munro, and then I can decide who I like, what I want from there. I can pretty much pick anyone that I want then. But I still, I'm lost. I feel like Timmy, but like...
Like Timmy comes in every week and he's like...
He'll sit back and he'll look at his phone and he'll go... yeah.
Oh, I can do this, actually. He's the kind of... Yeah, he comes in not knowing what to talk about, and then he's like... He comes in... It's like a therapist for his SuperCoach team. Nothing jumping out at me this game. Jacob Preston, he's on the chopping block, so I hope for a big one from him this week.
And then punt him
for Fafita, yeah. Titans versus the Dolphins. Philip Sammy is back. Valence Tafari named with Brenko on the extended, so he's already 350k now. So with Munro on the horizon, I don't think you could go there. But yeah, one enough I do like. Cleese Haas.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's one I looked at before, and I just wasn't too sure how he's going to fit into the side once everyone's back. Hopefully not at all. Hopefully doesn't get a bench role. But a starting second rower, is he going to play outside Kieran?
I think he plays for Feeder's side. Yeah.
So that'll be nice potentially. Is he dual?
He's just second row.
Makes it a bit tougher, but I think you just got to weigh in what's going to happen after everyone's back and whether he gets a bench spot or not. Because he has been playing off the bench, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Isaac Fasua Mawali.
Close.
Got it. He's also named at number 10. I can't spell his name. Actually, his name's right here. I can't spell his name, so I couldn't get his price up. But, Jake, thoughts on these guys?
I mean, if you really need someone, I guess you can bring it in, but I'd be staying away. I mean, a lot of people already have Tino's little brother, or like a Pele,
baby
or
Tino,
or as Mikey calls it, a mole.
A mole.
I mean, they're all kind of players that you don't really want for the stretch home because they're going to be an 80 nightmare. I mean, they're not going to help you at all, and they're not exactly bottom dollar either. I guess Cleese Haas, I guess you can put him at second row, which is going to affect you less. But as we kind of said, he's played, 4 or 5 games off the bench, which could easily happen because I don't know why they keep picking Joe Simpson, but they keep picking Joe Simpson.
Yeah, he didn't play against the Raiders at all last week. I'm just looking. So they played Jamin Jolliffe and Chris Randall and Aaron Clark. Tough one.
So I think all of them are unknown. You kind of don't really want to be stuck with them.
So this is why I think Munro is probably the best because I think he's either in or he's out.
Yeah, I like Munro the best. I think Cleese Haas is second best because he has been in and out, and also he has a negative break even, so he could make you enough money over the next 2 weeks if a feeder is rested next week. So I kind of like that one.
With them, I guess him making money, are you then going to enough him or go him to enough later on to make 100k? Like, if you've got heaps of trades, fair enough. But
I don't think you can. I think you can only use bank cash to kind of go to a maybe go to like a mid-range guy who could plug in there for the rest of the season. Someone like a Ewan Aitken who's like 400k at the moment. So maybe. Yeah, I'm not saying get Ewan Aitken. I'm just saying he could be that kind of guy. And Cam Murray's 480k at the moment.
It can't someone like a Murray's better because it can't.
Yeah,
can't,
thinking on my feet here.
No, I'm saying it can't hurt. Even whatever you're saying, as long as it frees up whatever cash you need, it can't hurt having a guy like that. Like he only adds a bit of depth, and if you don't have to play him, that's ideal. But it is what it is when the time comes.
That's it. Going to our Instagram stories now to answer some questions. Riley Milton 4 have 10 trades left. Do I use some to get 13 or stay with 11?
I think it depends what whether you're playing overall or head to head.
That's it. I think your answer is overall, do it. Head to head, don't.
Correct.
Unless you have head to head leagues that for some reason aren't playing this week, there'd be a few custom ones.
No, there are a lot. It's just our cash leagues. The idiot that organised it.
The default ones.
The defaults. Actually, a lot of settings will be like that. Yeah. Mr. Schneebly.
Ned
Schneebly. Jake Avarillo at fullback, 360k centre wing dual. I don't think he's going to get enough attacking stats. I know I said it before, but you got to pluck something.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that guy for you that just ends up being a mid-range guy. But unless you're making heaps of cash off it this week, depends who you're trading out, I think.
I think Tyrone Munro's a better one.
Yeah.
Jake, by the couch commentators, who will be the next New South Wales coach after the clean sweep?
I don't know.
I have this shocking feeling that they're not going to sack Freddie.
So do I. Fucking hell. I'll tell you what would be the worst thing. This side is so bad. They're going to win, aren't they?
Yeah, and then there'll be the Freddie's a genius.
The Freddie's a genius. Bradman Best What a pick.
selection. What a selection. I'm not too sure.
There's.
I don't know either.
I just want Matty and Andrew Johns in there.
They won't.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Andrew's already in there and they're still fucking useless. So.
Yeah, but let him pick the team and do the coaching.
Between what, trips to the pub and the cubicles?
Yeah.
Come on, mate.
B Spring, Manu to Talakai.
Nah, it's a bit sideways for this point in the season. I think that definitely not. Sorry, I like Talakai, but I don't think Manu's regressed as much as I thought he was going to out in the centres. Thoughts, Jakey? Would you agree as a Sharky?
I wouldn't be trading out Manu.
I would get
Try
Talakai
to
though.
find
If that's
another one. Yeah, trade someone else out other than Manu. I think he's an end of season player.
It's a tough one because I get why people are
Desperate
wanting to
to
trade
get-
these players
yeah.
because it's just so tough. JC Charles, Bullard to Nikora, Hopgood or Tarpanay already have horse. So Bullard was one I actually wrote down, but somehow we skipped it. He's a very tricky one at the moment. Scored 17 on the weekend. Has a break even of 100 or something.
151.
151. There you go.
gone. Get rid of him. Trade him.
I think so.
I said it last week. As soon as Brooks and Arpey were out,
Yeah.
and they looked like they weren't trying, so they're probably trying, but when they weren't that gritty team anymore, gone.
That annoys me that he had a buy at exactly the right time when all those injuries hit. It gave people time to do it. I think he's a sell. Bullard to Nakora. I'd go Nakora because
Yeah.
Nakora is a guy who you can do for the rest of the season.
He's the man.
Sam Milson, 9 trades left, 9 players playing so far. Would you use 3 trades to get there?
Again, head-to-head or overall focus. I probably wouldn't even use, even if you were overall, I don't know if I'd be using 3 and leave myself with 6 trades.
I think if you're overall, just go for it.
Just
I think so.
that's a very Savs response though.
Nine,
take that with a grain of salt.
9 trades left. Like the hit you're going to take this week, it's going to take just as much to recover coming back with the trades. Like you're going to make ground up this week, and then the trades you don't have, you're just going to have to ride on not
I
have and
suppose
ride on
you've
your
thought
depth.
this over more than I thought you would have. I don't mind it.
Jake,
Yeah, I mean, you also don't want to use 3 trades to bring in players that are going to like stuff you in the long run.
That-
Like, you don't want to be bringing in like an Avrillo or whoever that you're not going to be able to get rid of, and you're going to be forced to play on some occasions.
that's
You
it.
don't
There's
want to be stuck with them.
not really good options this week, hey? Like looking at captaincies, there's one. There's one vice captain.
And captain, he's playing the same game.
Johnny Renara, what keepers are playing this week? So this is a nice question to finish up on.
Good question.
What keepers are playing this week?
Maybe if we just run through our teams and say quickly the guys we're going to keep that are playing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I think you can pretty much just say the whole Shark side.
Yeah. No, because I'm not going to keep. I'm
I
not going
don't
to keep
think so.
a lot of them.
I'm keeping them all.
I'm not,
Oh, maybe not Kennedy.
I probably won't keep. I don't know if I'll keep Mulatalo either.
You don't reckon? I reckon he's a guy who can still score points though against good sides.
I disagree completely.
Because you'll get
He's actually been like I got him a few weeks ago now. He's actually quite a
Underwhelming.
frustrating watch.
Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know. But I've got Fanua Blake, Nickera,
yeah.
Hines, Talakai, Asako maybe is looking like if they go right. There's actually not that many that are playing this week that I'm probably going to keep. It's hard.
Jake, who's in your side that you're keeping? I actually think Tarpanay is
Yeah.
a pretty good hold as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Tarpanay, maybe even Tohu Harris,
Toe Harris.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Hopgood.
Yeah.
He's obviously one playing this week.
Murdoch
like the
Masilla.
Sharks ones, they're a bit. You're gonna be stuck with him, probably.
Always a keeper then.
Yeah.
I've actually spotted another nuff looking through the team list. Adam Mariota for the Raiders. He's starting at number 13 at 280k in the front row only though.
He's played the last couple of games, I think, Mariota.
He has, and he's played 40 minutes last week for 44. So,
Or was his only game, was it?
he played 1, 2, 10, 12, 13, 14, 18. So he's had a bit of a break. Keepers, yeah, Hopgood. Johnson, probably not.
They got a
Not
couple
with
of buys left,
Cleary
don't they?
coming back
I
probably next
I
round.
think Chance is a keeper if you've got him, just because their draw opens up a bit at the end of the season as well. Johnston, Alex Johnston.
Sorry, I thought that's who you said.
I
You
did
said
say Sean.
You said Johnson.
No, I said Sean Johnson.
Right.
But now I'm down to Alex Johnston. Interesting one without Cody this week too.
I think you can keep him for the rest of the year. They've got enough good
Good games.
matchups that he's gonna. The bad ones will outweigh the good ones will outweigh the bad ones. So he's probably a hold for me. Hopefully you're in a position where you've got a few good options in the centre wing later on, or for your reserves that you don't have to play him every game. So do still have Brisbane, Cronulla, but the rest is all really, really gettable. Apart from the buys, if you can deal with the buys.
Yeah. All right, lads. What are our trades this week? I'll start with you, Jake.
Alamotti, it wasn't going to be a trade, but Alamotti to Munro. He's gone. Alamotti. My other one, I'm tossing up between it. I don't like it, but I need to bridge Oluwapu to kind of get to someone, actually to get to a 5'8" that's playing next week, because I have Cody Walker as my 6. And I'm actually thinking about going to Jack Whiten this week and then flipping to Ponga the week after.
Don't
Versus the
hate it.
Dragons, low break even. The other option was Matt Moylan, but I just didn't want another shark.
I
And
think
it's
he
Matt
can do
Moylan.
it. He's in good form.
What did you say? You only had 3 sharks, didn't you?
Number 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't really
Well, I suppose there's no
know.
difference to like me or Savs going. I know Savs already got Kennedy, but what someone going Kennedy this week than Moylan? I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
literally no difference because I think they're going to be using them in almost the exact same way.
I think Whiten's going to be probably a more fun watch because he'll be the only guy you're riding that game. Whereas for the Sharks, you're happy if this guy scores, and then you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
this guy's being pretty quiet. This
Moylan's
game.
actually good to watch. I don't know. It feels
He
like
is.
he should be a better Supercoach scorer than what he is.
Yeah, because he runs a lot.
Runs a lot, nice, big, sexy passes. Like
He's back to his best.
I think he's going really well.
I like him. Him and Hines as a combination is very good. I like it.
Good bang for buck, I assume. I can't imagine he's on a heap of cash. And I think he's
Yeah. Jake, anything else?
No, just the 2 trades from this week. Just Armin and Aaron on the 5'8", and the fact you've kept mentioning Moylan makes me consider him now.
Hads, where are you going?
Mate, I've got no idea to be honest.
Helpful.
I've got to get rid of guys like Lindsay Smith now. I don't have to, but I'm going to get rid of guys like Lindsay Smith, Kepi, Schuster, who are all around that 400, 440 mark.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't get rid of all 3 of them this week. I'm now thinking maybe Horsburgh out. I've got Haas, I've got Fanua Blake. I'm going to get Fafita. The only thing that annoys me is his dual
That's
position.
handy to have.
Just to flick him up with Murdoch and Seal or whoever I need to. I'm really liking Timoko, I think. I think you
I
might
like it.
I think you might have convinced me.
I like it.
And then Munro probably, and then one other that I don't know yet.
All right. Well, I'm actually making some good trades this week. I'm very excited for. I am going Richie Kennard to Tyrone Munro, which is banking me 160k. I already have 240k in the bank. I am going Tyrell Sloan to Britton Nickera via Jules. Only cost me 100k. So I've got 300k in the bank. I'm going Jerome Hughes to Nathan Cleary.
This week.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's your plan next week, roughly?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Just playing eyes up.
Okay.
What do you
I
reckon?
know we've heard that he might be back next week, Saz, but do you really want to pull that trigger now?
Why not just pull the trigger, save the cash, pull the trigger next week?
Well, because I might want to do something else next week. Yeah, it's pretty dumb doing it this week, isn't it?
What do you maybe want to do next week? Like, you're better off bringing in Fafita.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know a couple of guys that are bringing Fafita this week knowing he's going to play some games.
I
play
think
some minutes.
I'm not going to get him in round 20 because I think he's going to play limited minutes or
Or rest.
or rest.
Tino rested last game,
I
didn't he?
think so. I think both of them are going to rest, to be honest. So I'm not planning on doing much. So yeah, maybe I should. But I'm just leaving it there just in case Carnage hits. But I should be. In a
I
good
like the
spot.
play. I like getting Cleary first game back. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't see a reason why you're doing
Yeah,
that.
you're probably right. I probably should hold that trade, but yeah, he's due to come back next week against the Dolphins. I think a lot of people will be in positions where they just want to cover who they already have. So if they've got like a Jerome Hughes or a Sean Johnson, they'll just do that. That they'll let them guys play and then get Cleary next week. So I think getting Cleary early, who is religiously pretty good when he comes back, I don't mind. I'm a bit scared though. Maybe I should wait.
If we do get good mail that he is going to be back around 20, I know Savs, you hang around Penrith plenty of times trying to see the Penrith players.
Trying to kick goals and get spotted.
Yes. I always do that in front of Panthers as well. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get scouted today.
So, I mean, if we do hear good mail kind of at the end of the week, I mean, you can do that trade on Sunday, the last game, because Melbourne don't play, Penrith don't play, so you can do that on the Sunday.
Good call. Stop talking sense into me. This week's best bet presented by Picklebet. Make sure to use the code TURBO when signing up. I've just got the Sharks 13 plus, which is
$1 over.
What's that paying?
and the odds aren't out yet, but I'm going to do. We're going to go Sione Katoa a bounce back. He's going to score a try. And I think Blake Brayley's due for a try as well.
That's a bit greedy, isn't it? No.
No.
Okay.
No, I remember the last time you said I was a bit greedy.
Yeah, well, it was the Manly game.
Manly game turbo
Turbo 2,
and Manly 13 plus. You were like, oh,
yeah.
13 plus.
I also, you know what I also said last week to you? I said, Kennedy, no way.
And now you're getting in
I
Kennedy.
think I'm going to go Kennedy.
Who are you selling out for him?
Well, Horsburgh's my big cash, and then I've got no one to go up to. I've got rid of Peachy last week, so now I've got no one to go up to second row. Anyway, I'll keep you all updated about what I'm going to do.
Please get Kennedy. I love it. Clint Gutherson, 893k, Jake. Plays Origin. I assume he backs up because he's coming off the bench, but is he an end-of-season guy? We did touch on his pretty tough draw to end the season. I think it's nearly time to jump off.
Yeah, but it's kind of who you're going to. You're going to go the 200 gap to Drinkwater. There's kind of Drinkwater and Gutherson, the two informed fullbacks. You got another couple of names that are kind of like Teddy's low. Walsh should be back in 2 weeks, but they have a tough draw. There's no fullbacks that are standing out that you can go to. So I think Gutherson's doing just as good job, to be honest.
I don't know if you heard our episode last week, Jake, but that was my whole spiel for about 5 minutes about there's no need to get two specialist fullbacks if you don't need to. And you should be happy running Garrick or Osako or something as one of your fullbacks.
Yeah, funny. It's funny. Garrick actually killed me on that Sunday game not having him. Didn't do much. Scored 90. He's someone you might need to get in because he's just looking good.
He's good. I actually watched that really closely because I was a bit desperate because everyone else was going monster and I really wanted him to score.
Yeah.
When they're attacking the line, I think he can be one of the elite fullbacks of the game, up there with a Gutho or a Dylan Edwards or something like that. But he just literally stood 20 metres out in the middle of the field, and I was like, all right, they're going to go right, he's going to sweep around the back. And he did not move.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, they're going to go left now, he's going to sweep out the back, and he didn't move. Then they put up the little dinky kick, cross field, that lands on the second row's head, and he was just in the same spot. So I was like, I don't know, it's hard to see where he actually gets his points unless he obviously scores a try or gets a line break or something, but it's crazy. He's a good own, and I'm glad I held.
Does Cherry Evans turn into that sweeping guy in that team?
They just look like they were playing really flat, and that Schuster needed to try and create the space with his little goosey or something. But,
yeah, okay.
I don't know. It was just a tough one. I spoke to one of my mates who's a Manly supporter who watches them closely every week, and he agreed. But Garrick's got all the attributes of a Edwards or a Gutho.
Yeah,
Probably not quite to that level, but
maybe Edwards is the guy with Cleary back.
Maybe.
Every time Cleary plays, he scores well, but it's during the Origin period when everyone picks up Dylan Edwards and they sell him before Cleary comes back.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it, Jake. Thanks for coming on. It's been a long stint, and we couldn't make it work with you in studio because it's so far away.
Yeah, and I guess the time and everything's a bit tricky. Hopefully, once EFE's over, doesn't help working in finance and accounting. Hopefully, I can make one of the studio ones. I
think we're back at Picklebet Studios to the back end of the season too, so we get a bit of buffer time there to come a bit later. Which I like recording earlier, but at the same time, it's a lot of work I have to do behind the scenes straight after this one to get the video out.
And Mikey might be back from Europe by then as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've heard, but apparently he's in Europe.
Oh,
didn't tell us.
Do you have him on Instagram or anything?
Yeah, I have him on
something. He's been putting a lot of rave stories up. It's kind of one of them like pet peeves on Snapchat where you know how people just record the whole concert. Looks like he's having a great time, to be honest, but
He loves it.
yeah, he looks like he's having a good time. He's not going to be there for the July 22 drinks, guys. I haven't even asked you guys if you're coming. Actually, I might have asked you. Are you coming, Jake?
I'll probably be there later. I'm going to what is it? The beer.
Oh,
festival.
the beer festival's that
at
day.
Henson Park. Jets and.
Where's that at? Is that in the city?
Henson Park. Towards the city, yeah. Well, pretty much city.
Nice. I really should have planned this better. But yeah, we've got Timmy, we've got the Whisperer, we've got Kane from SC Hub and some other guys, so should be good.
Nice. I'll be there. I'll have a couple of schooners for the boys.
Couple of schooners
see
for
how
the
we go.
boys. Maybe you might not be there because it'll be daddy time.
No, I'll still have 2 months.
2
Or,
months,
like,
2 months. That's
7
good.
7 weeks.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, cheers for tuning in, guys. Cheers, Jake. Good luck with your super coaching this week. Bye round. Let's head into the back end of the season.